Hello, everyone, and welcome to Flickering Myth. My name is EJ Marino. We have a video chat coming up with you, and I think we have actually a name for this, the Flickering Myth movie chats. I should probably call it
Yeah.
that. Alan, you were joining me. Thank you so much for this. We had a lovely not Suicide Squad. That's what we're talking about. We had a lovely Justice League conversation that you guys can check up here. I really enjoyed that conversation. We had Tom and Sean on. That was fun. That was
Yeah. Yeah, that was a hell of a time. We should do more parties like that in the
Yes, I
future.
like if you watch the video all the way through. Sean's lighting changes because we talk for so long. It gets darker in his shot. It's great. But
Yeah.
yes, we are back with another DC chat because I run this channel and I like DC, so we will talk about it more than Marvel. Sorry, Falcon and Winter Soldier fans. Maybe
I'm always here for it.
yes. So this one we had a whole week of DC stuff actually from the release of the Snyder Cut. From here on, we've been getting we got a writer attached to Zatanna,
Oh
which is
yeah.
Emerald Fennel from Promising Young Woman.
Mhm.
Cool. We had recastings. We had Helen Mirren and Pierce Brosnan enjoying respective.
Pierce.
As Doctor
Pierce is
Fate.
Dr. Fate. That's fantastic casting.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
so for it. Like
yeah.
I'm excited about Black Adam now.
Yeah, I love later in life Pierce Brosnan with the his like mustache and the goatee that he's been kind of rocking. I think it
Yeah.
looks so good. Like it's
It's that
he
elder statesman look that he's got now.
absolutely, and it's just funny that like somehow him and the Doctor Fate and Doctor Strange characters are always so similar to me, and I always feel like now like him and Cumberbatch have a interesting vibe together that I'm like, huh, I could see in the DC Marvel universes these are still playing off. But yes, Friday, I believe the trailer came out for The Suicide Squad.
The Suicide Squad. What a
Yeah,
name.
they should actually add another E to it and make like Megan the Stallion. It should just be The Suicide Squad. Or Suicide the Squad. No. Damn it. Almost
I
there.
would
There was something there. James Gunn would have done something stupid like that. Because oh my goodness, I did not like this trailer. I Besides, we'll get into the actual trailer. I just don't think this was a well cut trailer. I have issues with what's presented in it, but I really didn't vibe with this trailer. I just don't think it sold me on the film exactly. I got a lot of banter,
Yeah,
a lot of
it's a
that.
bad cut. There's nothing here that it's not. There's an art to trailers. like you should represent your product in a way that I don't know seems alluring. I don't know what the fuck I'm being sold here.
Well, you're being sold a lot of juvenile jokes. You are being
Yes,
sold.
miserably.
Yeah, we could talk about each kind of individual thing. Overall, I think the tone is where I'm not in love with this. This doesn't feel. I kind of was saying that I feel like he put the template for Guardians of the Galaxy onto this film. It's not 100% sure. If you lay it on top of each other, it's not going to like match up perfectly. But there's a lot in this trailer that gave me gave me Guardians of the Galaxy vibes, from the team dynamic, from individual character tropes to the Steely Dan. I don't want to say F Steely Dan up on this video chat, but like that's the thing. I don't like James Gunn's 70s dad rock playlist. And I knew it was going to be here. I was hoping maybe he would jump up a decade and give me like 80s or some 90s. That would be so
No.
different for him. I don't care if he wants to do Smells Like Teen Spirit. Sure, I just was like, okay, cool. I don't like the vibe of this. And that's kind of going down to I don't think I like James Gunn's filmmaking style.
I
I have no beef with him personally. I don't care that he got canceled and then uncanceled. I don't particularly like
yeah.
him, but my things are purely with him as a filmmaker. I don't particularly.
Yeah, his constant reliance on 70s rock, like I like a lot of the songs that he uses, but I still find that annoying. Like,
Yeah,
um,
jukebox soundtracks are hit or miss. It
yeah,
works for crowd pleasing moments.
yeah.
And this definitely screams crowd pleaser of a movie. Like the
Some
most.
crowd somewhere.
Yes, I will say though it does feel in film, in marketing, they do what you want to do, like four quadrant movies where you're hitting every market. You want to hit men, women, all age demographics, all like everything, all races. This does seem to have an R-rated vibe of a four quadrant film. It
Yeah,
seems to be the most blandly made movie with no look, if I was seasoning this movie, there's no adobo on this. It is salt and pepper up on this, and I'm pissed about that. I needed some
it's
spice.
it's boring. Yeah, it's clearly like I think I like both of his Guardians of the Galaxy movies. I'm probably in the minority that likes two more than one.
Ooh,
But
you
I
are,
like
because
them.
I hated that
Yeah.
one.
But I like them both very much. And I know you're not a James Gunn fan, but and I wouldn't call myself a James Gunn fan because I'm not like I think I saw Slither.
I must say, because we he doesn't have as big of a career as people really think. Because I don't think anyone really saw Tromeo and Juliet. Like, you know
Oh,
what I mean? Like,
I
I know
certainly
some
didn't
of
see any of that.
his trauma work. He wrote the Scooby Doo film.
I
He
did see
wrote
the Scooby Doo film.
he wrote Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead as
Oh
well,
yeah, that's right. Which
which
I is still like my favorite Snyder or anything. I don't know.
yes, but
BVS might push that out.
kind of aspects of it, I don't particularly like a lot of the jokes in that film.
Yeah,
Um,
I haven't seen it since I was 13.
it's the Ty
So
Burrell character who's the womanizer. There is a slight womanizer aspect to some of these vibes in the Gunn movies, and
mhm.
like I hated the way they spoke to Gamora. The Drax Gamora relationship pissed me off those whole movies. Like when same thing when
Yeah,
he would speak to Mantis in 2 when he would just call her ugly. I just don't, and I know that was just that one character, not everyone had that voice. But another issue, I feel like everyone has the same voice in this trailer minus Harley coming in with her established gimmick. Idris's character, John Cena's character, Joel Kinnaman's character, they all kind of reminded me of each other. And that was a vibe I didn't like.
yeah. I don't. No, nobody here is likable. Nobody here is interesting. John, this is like the blandest John Cena has been since WrestleMania 23.
Yeah. Was that
Like,
Shawn Michaels? I think so. Yeah, no, this was like pure like when John Cena was like trying to be an edgy baby face.
the bag of dicks jokes, the dicks eating dicks. It's not good. It's not funny.
It's not
Who's that fucking comedy for? It's not funny. Like,
no it's for a demographic who's not allowed to watch this movie. Technically, it's an R rating. That felt very
yeah, if
juvenile.
you're gonna make your movie R-rated, like don't aim the jokes at 12-year-olds.
Yeah, and there was other aspects. I do feel this movie is a little edgy for the sake of being edgy, which is
Yeah,
fine. I just don't think I think it works for Suicide Squad. I definitely think this is the brand to do it with. I just don't think it's landing as it did. I
yeah,
mean,
no, I don't mind Edge, like for all my like, I don't like Deadpool comics really at all, but I enjoyed both of the Deadpool movies. Even that's juvenile humor, it's whatever. But for the most part, there's jokes in those that didn't land for me, but for the most part, I enjoyed it. So I can be into a movie with this sense of humor. It's just that the sense of humor that they put forward in this
the
trailer
trailer.
does not do anything for me. I still think I might like this movie, but nothing in this trailer did anything for me.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm gonna watch it. I do enjoy Idris, even though we all love Idris
Yes.
Elba. That boy cannot sell a movie ticket if his life depended on it, though.
No.
Like,
And I don't. I think that's more that he just makes. He should be in a better spot by now. Like he's
when
so
his
good.
best thing he's ever done is Luther, a TV show on BBC. Like that is that's
No, I think the best thing he's ever done is The Wire.
but people do love Luther though. It's a very well received show. It's been on forever. It's
Did
doing
they?
well,
Because
but
I only saw a few episodes of it and I thought it was boring. But okay,
people like it. It's weird. But I go to
well, good.
Prometheus. I look at American Gangster. I'm looking at Pacific Rim, which I forgot he was in. To be honest,
Uh,
um, Jungle Book he was in.
mm,
Zootopia he has a voice in Molly's Game, the first Aaron Sorkin movie that no one remembered.
yeah.
So I just don't. God, isn't he in the Star Trek movie, which I didn't hate actually.
I
So
actually, he's in the
but yeah, I
best of
just
those.
he definitely I appreciate him for being a big dork, but it's funny that in a outside of me liking him as a person, I don't think this cast would have sold as many tickets as Will Smith would have, which is crazy. But
No,
like I don't think Idris and Will Smith are on the same level, and I'm not a big Will Smith fan. I'm not in
No, I
1997 anymore.
actually
So
I hated his casting in the Suicide Squad in the or Suicide Squad.
yeah,
Excuse me. You have to be very specific now. He ended up being my favorite part of that movie,
yes, he was really
but
good.
I did not like when they cast him.
And why bring Joel Kinnaman back? He better be dying early on in this film.
Why give Joel Kinnaman work ever? He is a dirty, wet rag on any project he's on. He's miserable. He's bad. He's bad. I fucking hate watching Joel Kinnaman anytime. Anytime he's on the screen. Not, I
I have
blank out and get mad.
I
He's
have
not
his
good.
bad delivery from the first Suicide Squad movie where this is Katana. She's my bodyguard. Like I just remember his bad delivery of that, and it's like ingrained in my head. I hated
Well,
him in that first movie. I thought he was
well,
the weakest part of it.
he's the
Um,
weakest part of anything he's in. What that RoboCop remake I couldn't watch
People
much
like the
of
show
because
he did, The Killing.
I
I
didn't see
can
that one. I saw some of what was the one where the cyberpunk one that he did.
Oh, that weird one that's on TV on Netflix.
Netflix. Yeah.
Altered Carbon? Is that a
Altered Carbon fucking sucks and it's all
yeah.
his fault.
Yeah, no, no.
I mean, the premise is bad, but then he's the center of the show and he's
Yeah, but I
bad.
even think they replaced him in that second season with Anthony Mackie, who again isn't like a ticket seller, but I would much rather watch Anthony Mackie in
I'll
something.
watch Anthony Mackie all day over
I
Joel
will watch
Kinnaman.
him at the end of 8 Mile before I watch a Joel Kinnaman movie again.
Like Anthony Mackie is not particularly good. He's fine.
Yeah, yeah. He's a good supporting guy, I
Yes,
think.
he's largely forgettable in a lot of roles, but yeah, all day over Joel Kinnaman, all
Yeah.
day.
And okay, so we're talking about some of the characters. One thing that kind of upset me, and again, it is just a small part of a trailer. For as long as this trailer was, I feel like I didn't get a lot of the movie because this was like maybe an almost 3 minute trailer.
Mm.
I feel like I still didn't get a lot. If they keep Amanda Waller in that goddamn office for that whole movie, I'm gonna be upset. Like, it's the second, and I feel like I'm not going to justify David Ayer's film. I know he had issues with the studio. They did chop it up. They literally hired the people who made the trailers to edit that film. You can tell. I
Yeah,
definitely think there was
it's a
more Amanda
bad movie.
Waller in that movie, though, that I was having fun with. I mean, there's a scene where she's like leaving a room and she just shoots everybody. And it's just like, okay, cool, I'm done with the people in this room. Bye, thank you, I'm leaving. I loved her character. I thought she was good, and I just hope she gets to
Yeah.
play in this because to me, it was Margot, Viola Davis,
Mm-hmm.
and Will Smith in that last film that was carrying it. I wanted
Yeah.
more of Leto's Joker because I did feel he fit into Ayer's world more than anything. Again, I also
Yes.
kind of like Ayer's universe more, and that was an issue I had here. I know he is not a person of color. The movie did feel more entrenched in a hip hop era, in a more street culture. And I kind of like that. I think that I know that's Air's thing. I thought that was more of a point of view to do with this. I thought setting it in the streets of Gotham, in the dirtier parts of Gotham, I thought was really, really interesting. And I was really into that idea. So when I saw this, and that is all stripped away, the cinematography is the most bland, just even color palette. It looks like sitcom lighting in this trailer some of the time. It is upsetting where I thought Ayer's film had shadows and more of a neon aspect as well. I really like the aesthetic of Ayer's film. I know that is a small opinion because he has an aesthetic people don't like. I didn't like it in Bright, so I will say I did like it when he did it in Suicide Squad and maybe Training Day, which I don't think he should have tried to Training Day up Suicide Squad, but he tried something.
Well, he didn't direct Training Day, did
He
he?
wrote it though, but
Yeah, he wrote and the Fast and the Furious. Yeah,
again,
I
that's
don't.
why I can't hate him. I like his
I can.
I like his aesthetic. I feel like me and Air would get along more than me and James Gunn would.
You ever seen
Um,
Harsh Times?
no.
I'm not going to go into a digression about it, but watch Harsh Times. I think it's his first direct. I think it's his directorial debut with Christian Bale and J.K. Simmons is in it. I think the guy from I can't remember his name. It's just off base. watch it. It's so terrible.
Yeah, I mean,
But it's the kind of terrible you need to
I
watch.
didn't particularly love End of Watch either. I don't think that was a bad movie. I just didn't think it was like a
Yeah,
great film.
I'm not
Um,
a fan.
and then again, once we get into police stuff, you start losing me here. So yeah, I'm
Yeah,
looking at these characters, and I'm just not. I have my issues with what they're doing with King Shark. I think another dumb one-liner character. That's just kind of what Killer Croc was in that first film, which no one
yeah.
really liked Killer Croc in that first movie.
But
Um,
here's the thing: King Shark is a stupid character.
I love him so much.
It's a bad character, and no one cares. So it's one you can get away with doing this with.
Yes,
Um,
I guess also I am watching him on the Harley Quinn show, voiced by Ron Funches, and it's
mm,
exactly what I want from King Shark.
yeah,
So I think that's also my problem is I am watching that Harley Quinn show, and I feel like that's the best Suicide Squad movie we're ever gonna get. That animated show is so good, and her little team she's making, I love them and stuff so
yeah.
much.
But yeah, James Gunn needs a character that he can just put dumbness into because that's what he did with Drax. There is some basis for that with Drax,
Hmm.
but not a lot. Like there's like he loses his mind at some point in the Infinity Gauntlet shit and it's very dumb, but
Yeah, there's a difference
it's not his
between
default.
dumb and his type of dumb. Like
Yes.
I felt Drax was there's something that I feel like James Gunn's style, it feels so modern in a lot of ways, like the way his characters speak. We kind of joked about it. It reminds me of Josh Whedon a little bit. It feels like
Yeah.
everyone does speak with the same voice. It feels like everyone has the same sense of humor. It feels like everyone, if they're dumb, they're a certain type of dumb. If they're, cocky, they're a certain type of cocky. Because I'm getting a lot of Star Lord vibes from John Cena's character, but a little bit of Bloodsport as well. The Idris Elba, who, by the way, do you know who Bloodsport is? That's a character I've never heard of.
No, that one's lost on me. Like I don't claim to know the deepest recesses of
Yes.
DC lore, but like
He's
I
supposedly a Superman villain, which I'm like, I don't remember. I guess I don't know a lot of the human Superman villains. I'm like, oh, Metallo. Like,
yeah,
those I think of. Some random like badass army black dude. I'm like, that's again, Idris is cool. I'm glad he got this character and like,
yeah,
yay. But I that's a deep cut Superman villain.
yeah. That's one that doesn't land for me. Um, Peacemaker, I know as it's a Charlton Comics character. He's what the comedian's based off of.
Yes, yes. I believe he got absorbed into DC as a lot of
Yeah,
those
yeah.
weird.
Same with Captain Atom, The
Yes.
Question, Blue Beetle. He came over in that
Oh
when
wow,
they
I really
bought
like.
Charlton Comics.
I might need to dip into that era because all those characters you just mentioned, I was like, I like the newer Blue Beetle,
Mhm.
Jaime, I believe, but I do like that character a lot too.
That's
So
all Steve Ditko for the most part.
okay.
Not Peacemaker, but yeah, the other three that I listed, those are Ditko stuff. After he left Spider Man.
Now, is there something in the trailer you did enjoy? Because I will say Peter
Oh,
Capaldi as the Thinker, good casting. I actually kind of like that.
sure, it works. Doesn't I mean nothing in the trailer did anything for me
No, because
there.
he's just there for that one weird line about
Yeah,
covering your mouth when you cough, which
yeah,
that felt like something that they, I don't want to say ADR'd in, but that just felt like a late in the game joke about like what's happening in our pandemic kind of era stuff of like that just felt like
yeah,
such a weird tacked on joke that I'm like, it felt like a trailer joke, actually. It felt
yeah.
like a trailer joke, which
It did.
expect that to not be in the movie. I have a feeling a lot of that is not going to be in the movie. I
Very
will
well
say
might not be.
I thought that scene where King Shark ripped that dude in half was kind of cool, but it's just hilarious. And I'm not gonna do this beef between these fandoms. It is just hilarious when they Warner Brothers called Steppenwolf too scary, so they redid him, and then they're like, but King Shark ripping people in half, as long as you add jokes in, which is a problem I have, as long as you add jokes in, it like lightens insanity up for people, and I'm like, that's fine. Because this, you brought up Deadpool, which is something interesting. Because I didn't like Deadpool 1. I thought it was so bland. I thought Deadpool was making the movie that he was making fun of. Like I was just like, well, you didn't really elevate the material. Where Deadpool
Yeah,
2, I
that's
thought
fair.
was a Deadpool movie. I was just like, Deadpool's far more self-aware. It's more of an insanity. That's what I wanted from this one. I wanted this to go Deadpool 2, where they just go further into the weirdness. Like when I feel like the Teen Titans Go to the movie was more weird and obscure DC than this, that is an issue.
Yeah, and
Which, have you ever seen
again,
that movie,
like,
by the way?
no, I haven't gotten around to
There's
it yet.
so many
That's
good jokes like that you would love. Like I think
yeah.
nerdy DCU would love that movie.
Oh my god, that show in general, like whenever I first saw it, I was just like, so they're just Cartoon Networking up the Teen Titans. And then I've like watched a little bit more of it, not just it being on, somebody else watching it. And I was like, this gets itself.
Oh,
This is fun.
when Robin got the Teen Titans into a pyramid scheme and they all had to explain to him what a pyramid scheme was, I was like, "Oh, I'm sold." Like I love that show.
But yeah,
Also,
this uh,
I would say the only thing I do is they brought back Jai Courtney and I have a crush on his Captain Boomerang. I'm sorry, I know
I
I'm trash.
okay.
I
You said
know.
it, not me. But he might be he's like he's so lucky that Joel Kinnaman isn't here because that it might be the
They're the
only
same
person. He has a little bit more charisma.
His Captain Boomerang made me laugh a couple times in that first
Yeah.
Suicide Squad. He actually had some decent jokes.
Oh my god, he's not good. What was wasn't he Kyle Reese in that Terminator Genesis?
He was also in A Good Day to Die Hard.
Yeah, I didn't even
Also,
see that one.
I Frankenstein, which no one remembers that movie, but
Oh my god,
I EJ remember I Frankenstein.
He's a charisma vacuum, though.
Yes.
Like he not as much as Joel Kinnaman, but
No. Also, Michael Rooker here. I love Michael Rooker, but
I love Michael Rooker in almost all situations, and like nothing about him in this trailer made me interested in
especially
anything.
Savant is like a computer hacker, which I got none of that in this trailer.
Yeah.
He did that weird thing, which it also Suicide Squad problem, where he was like doing targets on the little thing with the ball, and I'm like, is everyone really good at target practice in the Suicide Squad? Is that just the superpower? Because like, what is Peacemaker's superpower? Is he just like a Captain America, where he just is strong?
I don't think he has any particular superpowers.
Okay.
I'm not an expert
Okay.
on him in particular.
He is getting a spin-off series though, so
yeah, I really only know him as the inspiration for the comedian because I haven't read any. I've read all like the Ditko Charlton comics, but I haven't read any of that shit.
yeah.
So I don't know, but
I also think the trailer did interesting of selling the first group is going to die really quickly, like Pete Davidson. I think Michael Rooker. I think all of them are dead early.
yeah,
Like
probably
Ratcatcher, Polka Dot Man, who's that one actor people really like.
David Dasmalkian.
Yes, people really like him.
He's great for a gag or two.
Yeah, I think that one line with him and Idris was kind of funny. It bounced out because I hated that hand joke from King Shark, but then it was just like
that wasn't funny.
Yeah, I don't understand. Though watching like the idea of Viola Davis having to act off something like that makes me happy on the inside because Viola Davis is just that talented. In her head, I feel like she envisioned him. Yeah, I wish I was more sold on this because there is something in me that does like the Suicide Squad. Again, I don't like the 2016 movie. I love the aesthetic. I have the soundtrack because it was all like hip hop with like Lil Wayne and stuff, and I don't know, I like it.
It was certainly more interesting than this. Of course, like I so immediately turn off anytime somebody's like, "Here's Louisiana, here's House of the Rising Sun." It's like, really? Like this is our constant fucking go-to. And that just comes, I guess, from being from where I'm from.
Yeah.
So I'm like it's just an annoyance. But I didn't hate all of that Suicide Squad movie. I hated it by the end of it.
Yeah.
It's bad. What's her name is terrible at acting.
Oh, and Cara Delevingne.
Yeah.
And that's another one. I'm not pro, release the air cut, but I definitely think there was a movie. I think there was a movie in there that was lost in the edit. That was definitely post BVS where they were scared, which they have been scared for a while. I think up until right now, I do think Walter Hamada made a decision with the Suicide Squad that in Joker that I don't think the first group of people would have. I
Yeah,
think he has realized you can make edgier content. Um, and
yeah, he's just letting them
that's
make R-rated fucking bullshit, which is like a choice. I don't think
well,
it's necessarily the right
I
choice,
think DC
but
stopped trying to make billion-dollar films. I think honestly that might be lower your budgets. Stop trying to go for a billion, and you might be in a better boat right now.
the thing
Because this
is
movie
when
looks
you
cheap.
try to make a $1 billion film, you have failed already.
Hmm.
Like I can think of, like, obviously, like the Avengers Endgame and Infinity Gauntlet, they were on track to make, they knew that they
Yeah,
were making something that was going to make that kind of money, but they built to that. And they didn't
yeah.
start these movies off being like, these are going to be $1 billion films. And that's been Warner Brothers' problem the whole time, is they're just like, here's the formula. We got to catch up to
And
what these people are doing, and that never fucking
that's all
works.
brands though. That I
Oh
feel
yeah,
bad
yeah,
for
yeah.
all companies, and that's not my. I don't have a Marvel beef with DC. I have a Marvel beef with what it did to the industry. Everyone wanted to make a cinematic universe, but no one will have the bad times Marvel had. My parents are rewatching the MCU
Yeah.
films right now.
Uh-huh.
They weren't great when they started off. We have this revisionist history that we like to think that Thor: Dark World and Iron Man 3 were like beloved films, and they weren't. Like I
It,
was alive,
um,
people did not like them. But
yes.
I don't think
People
any.
should not like Thor: The Dark World, that's for sure. And that first Hulk movie is bad. People have good memories of it, of the MCU, because it starts off very strong
Yes,
and it has had its high points.
yes.
And that's all, honestly, that's all you need.
Yeah, and I
Um,
just don't feel like a company, we don't get a lot of them don't get the advantage of having a rough start. You have to come fully prepared with what you're going to do, and if you make a bad movie, and I'm not going to justify like the Mummy film that came out with Tom Cruise, that was set up to make a franchise that didn't do
well,
well because that one bombed, and then
the
it's just
problem
like, well,
the problem
also,
is you have to at least start off with something that somebody gives a shit about. You can have the dips, like that's acceptable and people forgive those, but you have to start strong enough to hook people. And that first Iron Man did. The Dark Universe shit, like I don't hold it against Marvel that everybody tried to play their game. Like I
yeah,
never hold it
I
against the originator.
it's the culture. I don't,
Yes.
yeah, I don't blame Marvel or Disney for it. I think the culture of it is
Yeah.
everyone, they really put it into fans and studios brains. This is what you had to do, and I'm like, ooh, no. And I'm kind of glad. I hated that DC interview that one CEO did, but when she said, I'm not going to be doing the cinematic universe, I was just like, at least you guys admit that finally, that you shouldn't do that.
Yeah, good.
That,
I mean, you could have done it, but I think the ship has sailed now, and everything's so fractious that like you would have to throw out things that work to reboot things to get it on a better footing, and that's not worth doing.
That's also the
Uh,
problem too, is they want to reboot Snyder, but there's things in that didn't, that worked really well. Aquaman, Wonder
Wonder
Woman,
Woman.
even Flash, to an extent, where like now they're like, these are decisions he's made that we're like, God, we hate them, but people like them.
Yeah, you're kind of
But I'm
stuck with it.
surprised Ezra Miller stayed on to the Flash, to be honest. I thought he would have been gone. I know, Aquaman made $1 billion. Wonder Woman did really well that first
Did
time out.
Aquaman make $1 billion?
Aquaman made $1 billion.
Jesus Christ, I still haven't seen it. Um,
It's
I'll get
it's a
around to it.
film. It's very pretty.
Yeah,
It's very, very pretty. And they
yeah,
don't do the stupid bubbles that Snyder does.
yeah.
He did that because I don't think he understood what they were doing yet. I think he was just like, I don't know what you're doing, Juan. One thing we have not talked about in this trailer is, we kind of briefly mentioned her, but Harley Quinn. She, I wish she was in this more. I can't. If they sideline her, I'm worried.
I think
I know
that
she just had Birds of Prey, so I can't be like, oh my god, I'm getting deprived of Harley content. But
I think that they were more trying to just like show other things, and like which I think is misguided when in a trailer that's trying to sell things to people. I think using this as an introduction to these other characters, that's kind of okay. Um, and what they had of her in here, I didn't think was that funny,
no, I did
but I
like
didn't
the.
think anything was that funny. So
Yes, the only joke that I thought was funny, the whole trailer, I mean, the whole thing, was when they were going to go save her, and she's like, what are you guys doing? I
Yeah.
saved myself. I thought that was that was a Harley thing. That's such
Yeah,
a thing
I
of
like
like,
that.
I thought that's why they had me that first. Actually, when John Cena was talking at the beginning, I wasn't really into his character. Also,
No.
I think he just sounds like John Cena. Like, I'm not acting him to like Shakespearean up his voice, but I was just like, you just sound like Cena. Like, you
I'm okay
just
with that if you give him something good to do, and they didn't give him anything good to do. In this trailer, I like David Dastmalchian, his polka dot man being that miserable. I was okay with that. That's
I,
funny,
again,
but
the one thing I will applaud James Gunn for is he will find D-list characters and do something with them. I mean, people forget Guardians. No one knew those characters.
yeah.
I knew Rocket because I played like a lot of the Marvel versus Capcom games,
Mhm.
and I would be like, well, "Who the hell's this raccoon? Like,
Yeah.
who is this raccoon?" And that's
Yeah.
how I like fell in love with that character. But
Yeah, yeah, Guardians was never. People can act like they were really into Annihilation, that fucking Annihilation event, and then the 2 years that it ran as its own comic all they want, but they weren't because it only ran for 2 years as
yeah,
its own comic. Like if people were really into it,
yeah, I
it
know
doesn't
no,
take a lot to keep a comic in publication. Nothing sells anymore. So if
yeah,
somebody's like 2 years, that's all you get, cancel it. Nobody was buying it.
yeah.
So um I I honestly, like, here I was more interested in, like, I wanted his take on this because as much as like the broad strokes, I probably am more of a Marvel person. When it comes to like the nitty gritty and the weird stuff, I like DC way more.
Yeah,
So like that's what I was kind of hoping for a little more of that, and it's here, but I don't recognize it.
I
This doesn't feel like offbeat DC like it should for me.
that's you nailed it 100%. It doesn't feel like what this should be, and that is just a trailer. I'm hoping there is another trailer that drops and my mind is changed. Maybe there is a little
Yeah.
bit more Harley. Maybe there is Idris doing something more than. It also just felt like he was doing a very Idris Elba thing. I was just like, oh, he's doing that thing that you cast Idris Elba to do. Like, cool.
Yeah, I feel like nobody here is doing anything interesting that we haven't already seen from them
Yes.
before. Even David Dasmalkian being miserable. I've seen
Yes. Yes.
that.
Absolutely. And they're bringing Starro in, which I know who the character is. I think
I'm
it's.
for it. It's the only thing I'm for in this movie so far.
I just didn't
It's
like it goes with the trailer. I didn't like his reveal in the trailer. I just thought the kaiju line was strange, and I just thought like
yeah.
when they showed him on the TV, but they didn't show him like for real. I just was like, I don't know. It was just a weird reveal for it. It's a strange character. I didn't know much about Starro other than I know he's like mind manipulation, kind of a parasite kind of thing, which is interesting. I hope that plays into the film. I do think
Mm,
him and Thinker are connected in the film. It seems to be. I think that's why Thinker is there.
yeah, that
Which
stands to reason.
which would be interesting. I I'm curious. I That's all I will say is I'm very curious. I did not like this trailer. I am not against the film. I'm not one of those douchey Snyder people that's like boycotting this and Godzilla and all that because I want Snyder. That's not how studios work.
Yeah.
um,
No, I hope this is good. I hope I would like to see another trailer that gets me a little more on board.
yeah,
Like I said, I like both the Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm neither a James Gunn fan nor a James Gunn hater. And I would like to see some of this weirdness like resonate with me as a fan of weird obscure DC. But just so far,
I said it
it's not hitting those strings for
I
me.
said it a couple months ago. Warner Brothers is this whole like HBO Max deal has allowed them to make these movies. I don't think any of them that they're releasing, minus Godzilla vs Kong, is doing well. They've gone a very nerdy year. They've
Yeah.
done Snyder Cut to Godzilla Kong, Mortal
Mhm.
Kombat. This they're having a good fanboy year, and I'm very happy Warner Brothers has definitely decided to like lean into the fans.
Mhm.
After pushing them away for so long, it feels like now they're doing such fan servicey things without being too on the nose, which is nice. So yes, good
Yeah.
job for having a nerdy year. That because I don't know if you've seen Kong versus Godzilla early numbers, but it's the best movie in the pandemic era. So yay for them.
Nice.
Those two big monsters deserve it. All right, thank you so much for joining me for this wonderful Suicide Squad, the Suicide Squad
The
conversation.
Suicide Squad, you can't forget it.
The no, it's the it's for
The
me and you. It is the Suicide
it's
Squad.
the Suicide Squad.
That makes it sound honestly. That makes it sound better already. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
I can't wait to review this movie with you when it comes out. I think me and you should review this one together. I think
Yeah.
that'd be a
Okay.
fun thing. All right.
Let's do it.
So thank you guys. Let me know what you think of this trailer down below. It seems to be we are in the minority who didn't love this trailer, but let me know if
Yeah.
you weren't clicking or if you did like it. Comment down below. Subscribe to Flickering Myth. We make videos like this every single week, and give us a thumbs up if you did enjoy. All right, Alan, thank you so much for joining me
Thanks
again.
for having me.
See you soon.